part two. We were just exiting, but the sun started shining. Was like a blackout of the first video. But here we got that exit from there. We're at the mountain, and you know we're gonna. Hey, please do not pollute. I find another one. Pick up the U. But we were discussing the DRT, the debt refusion theory. As I go, look at these beautiful rocks. I think we're gonna come to do some drills here because we never done. And again, we're at the mountain. Where maybe we're gonna go to the top and come back and gonna drop this off, and we're gonna go to the top and then come back, finish it, the workout there. So we were discussing the DRT, and I showed you the amount of debt interest which we're paying now, the amount of debt interest which we're paying out now, the amount of debt interest in which we pay, the amount of debt interest, which we pay, of course, now, is of course catastrophic. And of course the catastrophe of it is that we pay 46.5 billion. A billion is 1,000 million, as I showed you. And of course we paid, of course, 20.3, of course, which is the amount we paid, the amount we paid, of course, in interest, of course. And that is what it is, and that is what it is, the interest. And the sun might prove the king shining, so I'm going to show it again. Of course, this is the amount of interest we can pay. We pay this year, the amount of interest we pay. Of course, this year is the amount of interest we're going to pay this year. So the DRT, the debt refusion theory, I'm going to begin with it because this is the second part of the vlog. So look at that, 20.3 we paid 2020, 2021, and now we pay 46.5, 46.5. See somebody hugging, and that gave me a little bit of hope there. Somebody kissing and hugging, so that's giving me a little bit of hope. You know, somebody making now you're free to kiss, free to hug, and that's why it's worth putting some military uniforms to defend the children. And somebody hugging there, that's giving me some of that good hope. You know, it's hope for that free world. You know, so. So I love to see, you know, so I don't want to stare because I'm an ass for this, but that's what I love to see, you know, making out, and gonna get on the XYZ and give me that hope. Anyways, the DRT, debt refusion, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange in the U, universal E exchange unit, universal exchange in the UE. We're gonna take all the public and the private debt. 10,500. I have public debt. My private debt is 10,500, right? As a citizen, so 10,500 mine. Yours coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're gonna do the conversion to US dollars because the US dollar still is the currency of choice for world trade, international business, and global finance. So we're gonna convert all the public private debt of Canada into US dollars. We're gonna add it with the US and with the Mexican peso, and all that money be the initial money supply for a new central bank. That will be the initial money supply for a new central bank. So all the debts, public and private, and we're going to convert it to US dollar. And the UE, we're going to create a new currency because my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly what, of course, was done in the European Union with the Europeans. Of course, they created a new central bank, the ECB, European Central Bank, and of course they created a new currency. And of course, from the video one, I have this little thing which, of course, I have to bring back to the lost and found here, because we got lost and found here on the mountain and there. So if you find little things like this, just bring it to the lost and found, and they're gonna take care of it. So we're gonna give a little lost and found to there, and gonna go put it in, and gonna go put it on the door there for the lost and found, and they're gonna take care of business and put it on there, you know. So that's what we're gonna do. Usually it goes there. So here's the lost and found, and you put lost and found items here. And if you're interested in hockey culture, you get a little bit on the side. So it says closed, but I'm just gonna leave it here because they take care of it. So once they get it there, it's lost and found business, so they're gonna take care of that. So if you have lost and found, you bring it here, or you bring it up, or you bring it on all the way upstairs. And you know, the only thing I wish would be gender neutral washrooms here. That would be so cool. That's the one I would use. But anyways, gonna drink and hydrate and go all the way to the top. But I use gender neutral Rainbow Dragon if there's available. If not, use milk. But if there's available gender neutral, I use gender neutral. And we're working on it. I'm a centrist, and Rainbow dragon spitting that rock and roll for the firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, those changing diapers, the truckers on the roads, and those who build the aqueducts in the 20th century and the systems for me to drink clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy, zero pollution, zero emission energy, clean water for me to drink it, for me, for you, for us, because it's public. Just to have water here on the mountain, imagine all that labor and work which was done in the past for me, of course, to drink water. So I'm going to HYDRATE, let's go rock and roll. Oh yeah. Somebody wearing red, my favorite color, man. So gotta get it for that Germany, you know. I'm watching Germany and go Canada, go for that Team Canada edition. Although today is 4th of July and this Canadian Quebecer was born 3 times, twice as a man, once as a woman. I served in the United States Army and we're gonna put that recycling. See here, you got recycling, plastics, metal recycling, or you got even, of course, the option for dirt. So you got 3 options. So the plastic is gonna go in there. So please try not to mix it up for the environment, because otherwise it's counterproductive. So we got to do our individual part as part of the collective. We're gonna do our individual part as part of the collective, and it's always a work in progress, you know. So it's always got to get that work and see all this work here which was done. It's a lot of labor, laborious, you know, putting those nice public workers go. And me, I appreciate a nice flower pots like that. And how could you not appreciate the beauty of those flowers? And these flowers here, it's kind of nice, and I really appreciate flowers, and I always take pictures of flowers, and it's always good when I take them, and it's always good when I get that drill. So it's always good when I go on the drill, you know. So it's always good now, and I always get on the XYZ, and it's always getting on the XYZ now. So that's how I take it for the XYZ and XYZ, and that's how we do it for now. And for today's, I live carpe diem it every day, you know. So I see people making out, some there kissing, and keep on doing that, and that's super good, and that gives me some hope, you know. So I always say, as a protocol that's worth fighting for, you know. Somebody making out, kissing, and you're allowed to kiss, hug, and I like to see public signs of affection, hug for me like you never hugged before, and people doing barbecue here. I always love when I see full of people, because this is my second home. This is my second home, and gotta get it for that drill, and I gotta recognize that, you know, civilization is a privilege. I don't mean to stare too much, because I tend to not to stare as an aspie, but if I see that, that's good loving. That's good loving, man. That's good loving, you know. I always love when I see people doing some of that LOV, man. You know, it's always good when I see some of that LOV, and it's always good when I see it, and give me some of that hope, HOP, you know. What are we trying to say for Wall Street civilization? We got to do it for the lovers down there, and that's why I put on the uniform to defend, you know. It ain't all about Wall Street, and got at Asperger's with retrograde amnesia, survived COVID. COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease for me. COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease for me. COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease for me, and I survived, and I always like to get a little bit of that life, you know, back to life. Survived COVID 2020, February, March. Was like death, pestilence, and disease for me. I always being reborn, and survived being depressed. It's cross Canada, coast to coast. 7 years ago. It's gonna be in August, September. August, September. We're gonna be on that XYZ. You know, so that's what we're gonna do. Gonna be on the mountain here to get a little bit of loving, and always like my cousins cycling, and I always say, as a protocol, to put a protocol for NORAD, NATO, Dragon Army Initiative, Son the Pope, my King shining, that gonna need to go change some of those diapers, you know. If you're gonna defend, you know, who are gonna defend? Starts with the youth. Help Canadian Armed Forces, blah, 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 blah. Publish, blah, 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 blah. Publish some of my books, you know. I've written a few, and I had a flash before when I saw some children drinking water, and I imagined to learn about public works and about the aqueducts, and you know, and keep in mind I'm financially stressed. Keep in mind that I'm financially stressed. You know, but open for business. But I got trillions of kisses I got by the trillions. I'm laying the foundations for the first kingdom to be made and created with trillions of kisses. I'm gonna go to the top, come back and finish right here at the rocks, because I want to see, of course, what is the 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 XYZ for the XYZ, and what is the sunset? Where's those rocks there? Those rocks. So anyways, I'm gonna discuss the DRT, but I do want to say again, grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. As I come here to mountain, my second home, I ask all that, please, 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 do not pollute. Pick up the garbage, put it in the garbage. Pick up the recycling, put it in the recycling, because we got rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, hawks, lots of flora, fauna. So see stuff like this, it can be eaten. I don't mind y'all eating, drinking, have fun, but ooh, somebody had grapes. I'm gonna have to disinfect my hands because as an Aspie, got at Asperger's, and my obsessive interest, or cherries, no cherries from California. See, perfect, good. North America, I say local. North America for me, Canada, US, Mexico is local, but this has to be recycled, because what if we got rabbits, or rabbits eat it, goes inside and kills the rabbit, kills the chipmunk, kills the flora and the fauna, and we got to get it on that drill, and we got to get it on the now, and we got to get it on the do. So it's always on the do and blah blah blah, and got to get it for that left and for that right. And see, that's the horses of the police there. Hey, somebody got to sing some rock and roll for the firefighters LOV. We gotta get so for the firefighters LOV, firefighters LOV, LOV for the firefighters. Some gotta rock and roll for the security forces, you know. Nobody's perfect, not even myself, you know. With Asperger's, and my symptoms are repetition and obsessive interest. My obsessive interests are, of course, the study of civilizations, geopolitics, and that's what it is, you know. We gotta get it on that crows, you know. We gotta look at the crows sometimes, and we gotta sing it XYZ. So we gotta get it on the love, you know. So to the farmers, to the bushers, to the bakers, to the nurses, to the grocery store clerks, we gotta get that LOV, you know. And sometimes we gotta walk our paths, you know. Our paths, you know, love sports, love fitness, love that Asperger's. It's been difficult, but we gotta get it on the XYZ. So we gotta get it on the love, you know. Yeah. See those horses, usually the horses are there somewhere, but you can't get on the horses there, so it's always gonna get on those horses, you know. Somebody got a mountain, XYZ. We gotta get it on the love, you know. The lovers, butchers, you know. Somebody gotta love those bakers. Firefighter salute, you know. Always thinking about them, meditating about them, and thinking what's happening now across North America. Everything now that's happening now, and gotta get it for the XYZ, and we gotta get it for the XYZ, and gotta get it for those cyclists, you know. Cyclists to get it on the strong and get it on the love, and gotta get it for the LOV, you know. Always for the farmers, always for the butchers, always for the bakers, always for the nurses, always for those involved now across truckers. Think about the truckers now. The truckers, the bakers, the butchers, and those satellites. We gotta build some more, you know. Gotta watch where you cross the street here. Turn your heads left and right. Turn your heads left, right, left, right. You never know, eh? What if the sun beams, a little solar flare? Get a sunbeam, get a little bit of excitement, and get a little bit of a pressing of the accelerator, press of the accelerator. Instead of the brake, the citizen driver presses the accelerator. Hey, I make mistakes on the daily, errors happen, and you know, that's what it is, and it's gotta go on the drill, you know. So see somebody coming from the States today, 4th of July, I gotta sing a song, because I was there in a past life, and what did that say? No idea what that is. I was there in a past life twice. Was born as a man, served both times in the United States Armed Forces, and once was as a woman. You get that 50-50, now you get that 50-50. 50-50 androgynous rainbow dragon who loves sports, fitness 24/7. I wake up, I do sun salutation, stretch for years and years, and you know, with Asperger's, I have a routine, and I work out, train, exercise, and for years I come to my second home here, the mountain, Mount Royal Belvedere, and I march, and I meditate, rock and roll, everything that's happening now, you know, as a philosopher with my trinity of theories. Gonna discuss, of course, the DRT, the death refusion theory, 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 the death refusion theory. That's what we're gonna need to be discussing. The DRT, the death refusion theory, the death refusion theory, you know, so that's what I need to be doing. Discussing the DRT as I go in the mountain, as you see. On the mountain here, so cool. The air's fresh, so we gotta get that freshness. And we gotta get that DRT for you and me. And we're gonna get it to stay on the right, and stay on the right, and stay on the left, and sometimes we gotta get that center. So the DRT, the death refusion theory, is the only solution, brothers and sisters. I say this with a clear mind, and this comes of me being the curse of Asperger's on me for years and years and years. And, you know, I concocted and I studied civilizations and all civilizations and many civilizations, ancient Roman, ancient Babylonian, ancient Egyptian, and, you know, the DRT, I can say clearly, with the curse of Asperger's, that is the only solution. Somebody try to poke my right eye is gonna get bitten, eaten. To essence, you know. Go Canada, go, by the way, a 4th of July song before. For that 4th of July! This Quebec Canadian play that Rainbow Dragon for the site. Kisses, credit, my American brothers and sisters. Kisses, credit, my American brothers and sisters. Kisses I got by the trillions. Even in about love, good hugging. I don't want nothing. Hey, round about that South, round about that Midwest. How about all the states? 50 plus, we're gonna add it up. For that Canada, coast to coast. Was born twice. As a man and once as a woman in the USA, post 1776. Served twice in the United States Army, twice. When I come here, sometimes I get flashes for the past 7 plus years. I get flashes when I get a little bit of that sunbeam and a little bit of that moon, and I get a little bit of flashes in the Vietnam War. Served about 44 months, 45, close to 45 months in the Vietnam War. So, like more than 3.5 years, a little bit more than 3.5 years, a bit more than 3.5 years in the past life, and wars, and now we're gonna play that defense, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Dragon Army initiatives, call to all, blah blah blah. Encourage all to work out, train, exercise, blah blah blah. Hug like you never hugged before, blah blah blah. Do some push-ups, blah blah blah. Sun salutation if you're not 93, Thelema, blah blah blah. Crowley. Keep my name out of your mouth, rebirthing as Adrian Hannah Dragon is enough for a blessing. Keep my holy sacred name out of your mouth, Adrian Hannah Dragon, rebirthing is enough for a blessing. Keep my holy sacred name out of your mouth, Adrian Hannah Dragon, enough for a blessing. Thank you for your understanding. My rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid for the month of July. Got food and coffee, and I want to make somebody an anonymous friend who deserves to be 7 times the number after 6 to be 4, 8. 7 times richer than Beyonce, Oprah, and Kardashians, you know. Somebody, anonymous friend, and got to get that open for business, and I'm working with the laptop, so sometimes we just got to work with the tools we're given, and keep in mind here I'm going up, so I got to get on those steps, see? Steps, and see you got kind of like a stairs, which is made from the tools here. Stores here. We got to get it from the stores. We got to get it on the tools. And the stores. We gotta get it for the XYZ, and gotta get it for the left and for the right. That's why we gotta go drill it in and drill it out. And sometimes we gotta spit it in and crouch a little bit, you know. We gotta crouch a little bit. XYZ. That's why I get it for the XYZ. Can't go on the Attention, il y a la marche de cheval, là. Attention. There's a horse poop. There's horse poop. Said not to step in the horse poop. Not to step in the horse poop. Nothing else. So the horse poop, you know. Got a horse poop down there to be careful. I said don't step on they were jogging, so I said don't step on the dog poop, you know. So XYZ. You know, that's what it is. You know, we gotta get on that careful when you step. You know, hear this poetry anyways. My DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE. You know, so say watch it, don't step in the dog poop. Don't step in the dog poop, they gotta be jogging, you know. Fellow joggers there on the joggers, and they gotta give it on the XYZ, XYZ. We gotta get it on the lovers, and get it on the love, 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 love. Get it on the love, 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 love. Gotta live it on the love, 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 XYZ. So that's where we're gonna be. Gotta get it on the love, 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 love. And I gotta say to people, of course, that thing. Anyways, the DRT, debt refusion theory, is the only solution. The only solution is the DRT, the debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE. For the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. The DRT, debt refusion theory, is the only solution. Now I'm going to explain it. I'm going to show you why, the motive again. So this DRT, my DRT, contains monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is, of course, the theory which was done in the European Union. The Europeans, of course, created a common currency, created a central bank, the ECB. The ECB, European Central Bank, so that's what they created. And of course, my theory is, of course, the only solution. This comes from the curse of Asperger's. You know, this comes from the from the curse of Asperger's, of course, from the X of X. En tant qu'XP, ça vient de, it comes from, I was going to switch it to French, but it's not time yet, it's time soon, but anyways. And here it is, the debt. So this is the amount of debt we're paying. This is the amount of debt we're paying. The debt interest, not the amount of debt, but the debt interest, 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 which we paid 2020, 2021. We paid 20.3, 20.3, 20.3. See, billion. And gonna get to double now. This year is double. See, this is from the Bank of Canada, 22nd of November, the 22nd of November last year, 2023. I took this pic. So this is the official dates from the CBC, and this is the official Bank of Canada. So a billion is 1,000 million. This is just debt servicing. In other words, paying the interest. So this is the amount of interest that we pay. So in 2020, 2021, we paid, of course, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion. Get out of my eyes. But the DRT is the only solution. Gotta get 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion. So it doubled to 46, more than double, because double would have been 20.3 times 2, it would have been 40.6. It's 46.5, 46.5, 46.5, 46.5, 46.5, 46.5 billion. That's 46,000 million. Just the interest, my brothers and sisters. There's no other way. You can argue, you can be on the left, on the right, in the center, as I'm a pro-labor, love, universal, revolutionary centrist. My brothers and sisters, there's no way. But my DRT theory, I say this, due to the curse of Asperger's, I got obsessions, my obsessive interest. You know, Aspies, we got obsessive interest. And once again, Asperger's is not a mental illness. It is a neurological developmental condition. Asperger's is not a mental illness. It is a neurodivergent mental psychic condition. So Asperger's is not a mental illness. It is a neurological mental divergent psychic condition. It is a neurological mental psychic condition. Asperger's is not a mental illness because there's no medication. I just gotta be aware of my symptoms, and gotta work on it, and it's a little bit of black clouds. But anyways, the DRT, debt refusion theory, which contains monetary integration theory, is the only solution. And we gotta get it on the XYZ and XYZ. So the DRT, I explained, we're gonna take all the public and private debt. My 10,500 as a private citizen got 10,500 debt. My 10,500, your 10,500, our 10,500, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, ocean to ocean, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're gonna get that DRT, debt refusion theory, and we're gonna integrate it, and we're gonna take all the public private debt. My 10,500, yours, ours, coast to coast. My 10,500, yours, ours, coast to coast. We're gonna refuse it. We're gonna refuse it. We're gonna refuse it. We're gonna take all the debt, public and private. We're gonna take all the debt, public and private debt, and we're gonna refuse it. And we're gonna create, of course, a new bank, a new central bank, and we're gonna create like the European Union did, the ECB, the European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the European Central Bank. The European Central Bank, the ECB, the European Central Bank. We're going to create, of course, a bank, the European Central Bank, and we're going to get it for the ECB, the European Central Bank, and we're going to create, of course, a new central bank here in North America. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, my 10,500, your 10,500, my 10,500. I got 10,500. It could be different for you, for me, it could be different, but my 10,500, your 10,500, going to be XYZ, and we're going to get it for the X, and we're going to add it all up together. We're going to put it, of course, XYZ, and we're going to add it all up. So all that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, So coast to coast, and we're going to do the conversion from Canadian dollars. We're going to convert it because the United States dollar still is the currency of choice for international business, global finance, world trade, global finance, international business, and import, export as well. So the United States dollar still is the main currency. So we're going to do all the public and the private debt. We're going to add it together. We're going to convert it to US dollars. We're going to add it with the US dollars. And the Mexican peso, we're going to do the same. Cuba is a paradox, but Cuba is part of North America. Paradox of Cuba is being socialist. I'm not going to go divergent into that because I did deep in analysis of it, and I can pronounce myself intellectually and as a philosopher and as independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. And of course, the moves of China and Cuba are of geopolitical concerns for what I call the collective North American civilizational complex, continuity of security and maintenance of peace, of which here in North America we made what I call the great linguistic compromise. Well, I'm a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, and of course my brothers and sisters who are black, 13.4%. My neighbors included are black, and we're working on our racism, we're working on the racism and everything that we have, and of course XYZ. So that's all we gotta keep doing, and we gotta keep doing for the XYZ. So we gotta take all the public and the private debt, my 10,500, yours 10,500. We're gonna add it all up. Something in my right eye. So gonna take home the public and the private debt, and my 10,500, your 10,500. We're gonna add it all up, coast to coast, with the United States dollar, with the United States dollar. We're gonna add it all up, and we're gonna put it coast to coast. We're gonna add it with the United States. That money is gonna be in the trillions. So that money is gonna be in the trillions of dollars. And this money will be the initial money supply for a new bank, So it's gonna issue a new currency. We're gonna create a North American bank, a new currency based at the value of the United States dollar, called the UE, U dot universal E dot exchange unit, the U dot universal E dot exchange unit, the universal exchange unit. That's what we do as I roam here, of course, on the mountain in the forest, and with fresh air. I always try to meditate, and I come from the urban jungle. As you see in my videos, I have to move a little bit far from here, and it's a little bit further down when I have to go. And of course, sometimes I just gotta drill it in, and gotta be mindful, of course, that we gotta get some of that drill and some of that exercising. And my fitness journey commences today now. That's what I always say. And you got different routes. You can take east, west, north, south, and explore the snakes here. It's like kind of like coiled snakes. I like snakes, by the way. Snakes, spiders, and scorpions. I don't mind it, but hawk, H-A-W-K is my main one. So I see my hawks here. We got hawks here. So anyways, we're going to take all the public and the private debt. My 10,500 euros coast to coast. We're going to add it all up. We're going to create a new central bank, a new money supply, a new central bank, a new money supply, a new central bank. So we're going to create a new money supply, a new central bank, and we're going to add it all up. So that will be the initial money supply for a new global bank, and a new central bank. That is for North America. Just like the ECB could be transatlantic, so we can merge transatlantically with the Europeans, NORAD, NATO member countries. Who's going to be that 33rd in NATO, blah. So we're going to merge, merge, and of course we're gonna be XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. So we're gonna be merging. So take all the debt, public and private debt, all the debt, public and private debt, the debt refusion theory we implemented, of course, for the creation of the euro, the European, just like in the European Union, we're gonna create a new central bank called the euro, like they call it the euro. We're gonna call it the UE based on the US dollar. So we're gonna create the universal exchange based on biometrics. That's why I'm calling my Scorpio brother Bill Gates. He's a Scorpio, astrologically related, and Joe Biden, another Scorpio. Somebody give him a massage before speeches. LOV and of Black Hawk, Blackstone, and BlackRock are two different financial institutions. We're gonna XYZ, and we're gonna do it, of course, with the Larry Fink, another Scorpio. Of course, it can be Sagittarius and all the astrological signs: Taurus, Sagittarius, all the signs. Of course, Leos. It takes all to tango with the 13 with the Sun. But nonetheless, just to say, of course, and to say that it takes the public and the private, So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take all the public and the private debt. We're gonna refuse it. So we're gonna create a new currency called, of course, the UE, Universal Exchange Unit, the UE. That's what we gotta do. And we gotta implement it as soon as possible. Starts with me here, because you saw the catastrophe of the public finances and personal finances. So this is, of course, inspired a little bit by another one. It's inspired a little bit by another theory, but we gotta go do it. So we gotta do on the XYZ. So just canceled an event tonight, so we gotta be on that XYZ. It's on the human side, so gonna stay a little bit more here on the mountain, discuss it and converse it, and maybe we're gonna go do a little bit of drill with do for the top, and we're gonna go for that XYZ, and gonna get it for that lovers, and like brothers and sisters here. North Americans unite, you know, for that free world. We gotta do NORAD NATO, we gotta do implementation of the DRT. My brothers and sisters, you saw, I showed you the proof, and this blessing of my theory is for me, for you, for us. The curse of Asperger's makes me, of course, that I am and have been for years and years obsessed about topics. Geopolitics, public finance is part of civilizational studies, which is parallel to my geopolitical and fitness obsessions. You know, those are my main one. Dancing is my favorite sport, but it's sports, fitness, geopolitics, sports, fitness, geopolitics and sports. Those are my main obsessions. And public hygiene, a little bit of about germs, bacteria, and microbes, kind of a bit too much sometimes, and you know, but nonetheless, with that, of course, comes the study of civilization. So studying that, I can tell you that it's the only solution. My brothers and sisters, there's no other solution but the DRT, the debt refusion theory. You saw proof. So we're gonna take all the private and the public debt and the public and the private debt. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, my debt, your debt, our debt, my debt, your debt, my debt. We're gonna take it all, Canada coast to coast, the public and the private. We're gonna convert it to US dollars, and of course we're gonna add it with the United States dollar. We're gonna create it with the Mexican peso, Mexican public private debt. We're gonna add it all up together. Haiti, the good, and the countries of North America. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna add it all up and create, of course, that money will be the initial money supply for this new bank. That money will be the initial money supply for this new bank. That money will be the initial money supply. So it's going to be in the trillions, and we're going to set an interest rate level of 10%. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 1.56, 3.33, 7.70, 9.3, 6.1, 4.18, 8.0, whatever the case, below 10 by principle. And of course, we're going to freeze the prices of bread, butter, milk, whatever the case may be. And with all that money, we're going to be able to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, citizens fitness, citizens to work out, train, exercise, citizens fitness, and all other programs which we're going to be able to finance, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance plantation, mass finance infrastructure rebuilding, mass finance defense, build more satellites coast to coast, be able to intercept ICBM rockets, be able to build and do the Hawk HAWK satellite connected NORAD NATO to the stars, taking more level, build more satellites to be able to build coast to coast, ocean to ocean, North American collective complex to the east, to the Atlantic, to the west, to the Pacific, to be able to intercept, and finance the complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the North American Citizen Integrated Dance League, the Dancing Goddess Army, DGA with that Dragon Army, the North American Integrated security, service, and defense, defense only, security, service, and defense only, security, service, and defense only, security, service, and defense only, that dragon army, you know. So that's how we're gonna need to do, and we're gonna need to complement it and build it up together, and we're gonna do the dragon army and the citizen integration theory. We're gonna build it up together here in North American Collective Complex and North American Collective Complex. We're gonna be able to do it both, you know. So that's how we're gonna be able to do it, and we're gonna be able to drill it in, and we're gonna be able to drill it out, and we're going to be able to establish here peace by, of course, this initiative, public-private partnership, centrist way. Rainbow Dragon is that black and that white and that rainbow together. Rock and roll for the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, firefighters. Dragon, rainbow dragon, that for the firefighters, black and white and rainbow. For that firefighters, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, rainbow dragon. That firefighters, butchers, love, salute, and we're going to be able to build new machines. And thank you to the public sanitation workers. They pick up the garbage every week. The garbage, the compost, and now the bugs, black bugs and white bugs are really getting aggressive, trying to get my both eyes, but they're not going to be successful on it. So we're going to go on that drill, and we're going to go on that finance, and we're going to go do the DRTs, the only solution. The only solution is that these bugs are going to get smashed or eaten, but we got to get on that XYZ. So here we're going to go build, of course, the Forgotten Goddess Temple right here, where the House of the Dragon is what I'm calling for the building right here thereof. The Forgotten Goddess Temple right here, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, of course, with the House of the Dragon. All I need is 3 rooms in a pyramid right here. Pyramid, scarlet, red, crimson, scarlet, red is the shade of red, crimson, and scarlet, of course. Pyramid, House of the Dragon, face to face with a Forgotten Goddess Temple. I'm laying the foundations, blah, blah, with trillions of kisses for the pyramid. All I need is a sleeping quarters, a kitchen, and a bathroom, and of course, Forgotten Goddess Temple, and a seven-story circle, for activities such as new moon coming this Saturday, new moon, full moon, X moon, all moons, or whatever moons, and a celebration of tarot reading, astrology. Forgotten Goddess Temple with a 3rd one, Rainbow People's Palace for my fellows, myself, I'm gay androgynous pansexual, being gay androgynous pansexual, of course. Gotta get that new moon, and gotta build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, and the 3rd one is gonna be the Rainbow People's Palace, Rainbow People's Palace, Rainbow People's Palace, and I left to come stretch here with a pyramid. I need the glasses. Gift from my greatest person I know. I love to stretch with that pyramid. For some reason, it's like a pyramid and I have stretch. Oh, there's bugs trying to get my eye. Yep, gonna get eaten. Anyways, the DRT is the only solution, the debt refusion theory. Take all public and private debt, create the UE, freeze all prices, set an interest rate level of 10%, finance with that money, people to work out, train, exercise, 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 and of course, build a Forgotten Goddess Temple with the House of the Dragon right here. Build a Forgotten Goddess Temple with the House of the Dragon. And the 3rd one, of course, the Rainbow People's Palace, 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 the Rainbow People's Palace. Right here from this XYZ. And that's what we're gonna need to be doing. You know, we're gonna need to be at that hydration and get that hydration with it. So, got a little bit of bugs here. See, they keep on coming. Lots of bugs, gonna get them out of the way, you know, they're flying in the eyes, you know. Gonna get my fellow citizen there, good for you, keep on jogging. That's good for you for exercising here. And see, this is a plantation zone, so we're gonna be able to plant some more plantations and do a lot of plantations here and do a lot of plantations right here and get it for more plantations for environmental work, and gonna be able to mass finance rebuilding of infrastructure. Mass finance infrastructure rebuilding. Mass finance infrastructure rebuilding. Mass finance infrastructure rebuilding. Mass finance infrastructure rebuilding. Coast to coast defense. Coast to coast the Skyhawk defense initiatives, which I began writing a few years ago. And since you don't know, you will know that since 2019 I've been kind of in a World War III mode, because I predicted, based on an in-depth analysis, the current concordium, what's happening now across geopolitically across the world. And I predicted, because my ASPI obsession of the main three is geopolitics, and I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. So we're gonna need to get doing, and we're gonna need to implement coast-to-coast defense and build defense mode. Coast to coast, we're gonna be able to implement defense for the coast to coast, and open some mountains to get that, open some mountains to be able to stack food in the mountains here in the public-private partners. We're gonna build more hydroelectric dams, 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 more hydroelectric dams. You know, that's what we're gonna be able to build. We're gonna be able to build more trains, more factories, and we're gonna be able to construct, build infrastructure, and build, of course, the Dragon Army and the Dancing Goddess Army to get it on the go, and finance mass rebuilding of infrastructure. That's what we're gonna be doing to build. And hearing a little bit of those birds chirp, we gotta get a little bit of X and a little bit of humidity now. Please do not pollute. Once again, this could kill a squirrel. See, it's got an opening. It's got an opening, so this could actually kill a squirrel and a rabbit. And although there's no squirrels and rabbits here, we gotta get it on the XYZ. And gotta get it on the go. So these people there are gonna get for that XYZ, and that's all we need to be doing. You know, people gotta put this in the recycling. This could suffocate a rabbit. Could suffocate a squirrel. Could suffocate a squirrel. Suffocate a rabbit. And you know, this has to be going inside. And then my fellow citizen there going on the jog, you know. Good for you, keep it up and keep on stepping, and we're gonna go get that hydration, and we're gonna roll a little bit to the top, and we'll roll a little bit to the sides, and that's how we do it. You know, we work out, train, exercise. I'm looking, it's a bit stormy out here. We're gonna need to be switching to that French because we not bad province, but nonetheless, people working out, training, exercising. It's always good for me to see, and always good for me to clean after somebody's mess, because it's gonna pollute whatever it is. And let's stop a bit and do some of those hawks. See here, we can do a little bit of hawks right here. We can put the camera and say gratitude, grateful, thankful, go that. Each day do some squats and hawks. We can always do a little bit of workout, training, exercise. I'm gonna sing some for my fellow brothers and sisters, of course. That 4th of July. Gotta get it, it's July. Gotta get it when I was there and roaming in the past life. You had to fight some wars. I done been through the score. Hey, how's that North America? I gotta sing it for those states. For the South, for the Central, for the East, and for the West. California and that Florida. For the New York, you hear that Minnesota. Gotta give them up and down St. Louis, that Missouri. For the river, for the butchers. Gotta sing it a little bit for those truckers. Gotta go up and down this sound. We rock and roll up in the loud. Up in the loud sometimes, we gotta slow down. Slow down on the truckers, there's too much highways on the road. We got a lot of work on rock and roll. On the door for that 4th of July, we gotta give it for that sky up in the lights. Gotta build more satellites, gotta get that defense, Hawk, H-A-W-K. We gotta get it so it's okay, we gotta get those squats every day. We gotta pull up with some push-ups, we gotta pull up with some X. We gotta go do for that rock and roll best. We gotta do for that rock and roll best. For the art and for the left, for the art and for the best, for the left and for the right, down in the center, down in the south, in the middle, up in the west. Gotta sing me some of that love. Love life and love life and life unlively. Gotta father bury me in New Jersey with Papa Crowley. Gotta be bury me in New Jersey, 1/3 of me with Papa Crowley. I said bury me in that New Jersey, 1/3 of me with Papa Crowley. He done wrote some poetry and you gonna be 93. On September gonna ask again, my want to be, marry me in androgynous. Gotta get for that light, gotta get for that thunder up in the skies, gotta get it for the light, gotta get it for those squats. Always love, get those squats. SQATS, we gotta drop down, get it rock and roll, you know. Switch it as we go to that French because we la belle province and gratitude, but now we're gonna go do that. A little bit of hydration. Where can we hydrate first? I guess if we go up and down, we're gonna get the first hydration. Actually, the closest hydration would be, of course, to get it on the rock and roll right there. So that would be kind of the first hydration as we go down. Maybe I could go down. Maybe I can go on the hydration up and down and up the road, and maybe we can go and then check if the sun's shining, come back to here. Let's go do that. We're gonna get that hydration, we're gonna get that XYZ to get that hydration as we go. So we're gonna get it on the road, and we gotta get it for the X, and we gotta get it for the lovers, gotta get it for the butchers, man. Always rock and roll for that DRT, that refusion theory. Look at that, that would be a little thunder down there. We're gonna come for that X, you know, we gotta get it for that X. We gotta get it for that lovers on the best. We gotta get it lovers for the rest. Lovers for that. Oh, look at that. That's a raccoon. Raccoon just passed. Raccoon. A raccoon for that lagoon. A raccoon for that lagoon. A raccoon for that you spoon. Spoon, I know you see you soon. Let's go for that 4th of July event. Grateful, thankful, rent spread, electricity been paid, got food and coffee. And always when I march here, I meditate everything that's happening now across North America, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. This is my favorite spot here. You see, you can have a log, you can do some push-ups with it, you can get it on children playing, always fun, get some exercise. Gotta mix a little bit, you know, you can't have all social media all the time, you know. Gotta be immersed a little bit in nature. And nature and civilization gotta work hand in hand together, you know. I have some solutions, not all. I'm a philosopher, rainbow, and love that rock and roll. I'm not perfect, far from it, you know. I got some issues, got some vices. Sometimes we just gotta give it on the X, and gotta be grateful for the technology, 3G, 5G satellites, and we gotta build more monitoring, public-private partnership centers of internet connected with, of course, lots of monitors, and webcams, and across North America, you know, in the public, and citizens to see all the trucks that's going, all the production of food, distribution, and to be involved in the public-private partnership way, to be involved in a PPP, in a public-private partnership type of way. So we gotta get that foundation, so we gotta get it for that drill, on the go. So I always say, of course, meditate. Now truckers going XYZ, firefighters, LOV, you know, somebody hugging, somebody making a new love for that summer love 24/7, yours truly. With that rock and roll, don't get it twisted. Rock and roll, I'm gonna play that defense for my brothers and sisters, North America. Pledge your allegiance to our family. I'm gonna defend like I'm defending Birdie in the Purdy for that 49ers and Brady in the Super Bowl. We're gonna play that defense based on a hardball ball, or aka the blackout ball, So it's kind of like the blackout, you know. So it's kind of what it is. Sometimes we just gotta get it on that drill, and we gotta get it on the squeal a little bit to get a little bit of hydration, and we gotta get a little bit of that XYZ, and it was gotta be that grateful. Always gotta be on that grateful. Always gonna be on that gratitude, you know. Cake's a light, man. Gotta beat it on the X. Gotta beat it on the lovers. There we go. We made it. To the XYZ. Now we gotta get it for that hydration, and we gotta get it for the XYZ, and we gotta get it for the left, and the black, and the white, and the rainbow. I just love that, man. I just love that. Somebody just freestyle roaming with that. Fucking nice, freely, safely, you know. Exercising that liberty. We gotta get it on that X, and gotta get it on the Y, and the Y, and the Y. And here we are. We made it to the top. Made it to the top. Once again, up in the block. We're gonna switch up in the rocks. Gonna go. We're gonna go hydrate. Super hydration. Downstairs for that H. YDH.